What kind of impact has citrus greening had on Florida's citrus industry? Well, consider this. In 2000, there were 106 packing houses in Florida. This year, 26. ABC's Adam Cellini joins us with more. Adam.
Yeah, Alan, even though over $200 million have gone towards citrus research in the last decade, this is a billion-dollar industry, and many are barely hanging on while we still wait for a cure.
I always liked these old groves.
Through the early 20th century, Manatee County was a top citrus producer in the world. But it wasn't oranges, rather grapefruits from the Atwood Grapefruit Company's 96-mile-long groves that received global acclaim thanks to the shipping capability of their Palmetto packing house.
These were seedlings, which means they planted the seed and these grew. These trees, you can see the ladders, I mean, huge trees.
Over time, development squeezed the citrus groves until there was no longer enough supply for those packing houses to operate.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of consolidation, and the packing houses have slowly, or in some cases, some areas quickly disappeared.
Mixon Fruit Farms is Manatee County's last remaining citrus packing house, and their facilities are only quiet right now because the fruit is out of season. But around the state, other citrus packing houses are closing their doors for good as greening continues to devastate this once prevalent industry.
Citrus greening is the result of Asian psyllids infecting trees with the HLB bacteria, turning fruit green and rendering the crop and tree useless, even for juice. Dean Mixon sold off 85% of his groves after diseases took over, and only half of the remaining 50 acres are producing fruit worth boxing.
We're not packing near as much as we used to, but in the day, you generally figure like an 80% pack out when you bring in fruit in from the field. That was before canker and greening and everything else that's come along. Now you're looking at 40 to 50% pack out.
Packing houses in Central and East Florida who don't grow but rely on others to supply their fruit are no longer getting enough to cover operating costs.
Since 2014, I think we had like 40 packing houses that actually ran that season. And this season, we had 26 that actually opened and ran fruit.
More than $200 million have gone towards citrus greening research from the state and federal government, including $8 million lawmakers like Bill Galvano fought to approve in this year's state budget.
The impacts of greening are affecting every corner of our economy.
But the industry is growing anxious, still waiting for that funding to produce something practical. Galvano is measuring progress from a different perspective.
A few years back, we had maybe 150, 160 different potential programs that we were looking into. Those numbers are narrowing.
The remaining avenues, according to Galvano, include antibiotics, genetically modified organisms, or viruses that target the bacteria. Much of this research is coming from the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, who say curing a century-old disease is no small feat.
In the past 10 years, we've learned more than the world has learned in the last 100.
An impatient Mixon has spent the last 5 years experimenting on his own crops with a local company's unapproved biostimulant, which has yielded his healthiest trees so far.
You might burn all the fruit and lose your crop for the year, or worse yet, burn the trees. But the growers are getting desperate now. They're ready to try most anything.
Others are holding out hope that the citrus industry will endure, as it's proven time and time again in the past.
Agriculture is so resilient, and the citrus industry is too, and there have been many battles that the citrus growers have faced over the years, and they've overcome. And I think this is just one more, a trying time for them, to overcome.
And Alan, another way these growers and packing houses are trying to survive during this period is by diversifying, growing tangerines, olives. Even the Mixons are planning to start experimenting with bamboo in their fields.
Okay, thanks a lot, Adam.